Let's bring in psychology expert, someone who has written on family relationships. She has expertise in that area. Dr. Sue Kornbluth in the studio with us, and also want to welcome in trial attorney Jamie White, who is joining us remotely. That being said, Jamie White, perfect time to turn to you. So we know that there isn't any direct evidence linking David Swift to Karen Swift's murder. We have some circumstantial evidence, things like the screw in the tire, things like the spying in the backyard, things like he got hit with a divorce petition. Karen Swift's statements to her friends that he was very controlling and she wanted to get away from him. What do you think, as a defense attorney, would you be encouraged going to trial with facts like this?
Well, I mean, you never want the jury to hear about things that are outside of the facts of the case. And I think you've just proved, I mean, there's certainly some evidence pointing towards this gentleman, but from the point of the view of a potential defendant, I think the question becomes is the stalking relevant? Are some of the other statements relevant about him being controlling? And, most states have as a matter of statute, said that kind of evidence comes in, but it really doesn't point to any direct evidence that he committed this act. So again, just from the point of a defense.
Sure, yeah, he's got that going for him. He really does. Jamie White, curious, how do you think this case is going to go? We're getting close to the closing arguments. We're watching the courtroom. Any predictions on which way the jury may go here?
I mean, the breadcrumbs certainly lead towards conviction, but I do, again, think that there's some arguments that could be made here, again, sort of isolating some of the prosecutor's evidence. I mean, there are a lot of people that have stalking charges. There are a lot of people who are controlling, and I'm not justifying that, but, that's, I think, what we're going to see is an approach to overcome what seems to be a very clear circumstantial case.
We just heard Dr. Sue Kornbluth putting out a theory there, and I want to bounce this off our guest, trial attorney Jamie White, who's watching remotely. Jamie, Dr. Sue was just saying before the break that she's wondering if through this fight that we know happened, we know that there was a fight, Karen Read got angry, prosecution team has angry voicemails they promised they're going to play for the jury. We haven't heard them yet. But she thinks that maybe John O'Keefe was mad and perhaps threw that cocktail glass at the tail light, and that's what caused it to break. What do you think about that theory?
I guess let me kind of get ahead of my skis and say I have a problem with this conspiracy theory associated with this case. So with that premise, I think Dr. Sue, I mean, as a good inquisitor would always do, brings up a possibility, and that's what these cases are all about. But I do think, Julie, that at the end of the day, her vehicle is going to be held accountable for causing the accident. Whether or not that's second-degree murder or something lesser than that is yet to be seen.
Right. And we'll see if they're able to prove this is a murder, because we know initially that it was charged as a manslaughter case, as you know, Jamie. They upped it with the grand jury presentation. We still have more to be seen, but thank you for that comment.